Hello and welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca Escott, and as usual, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this tutorial today. I am going to be using a sublimated tumbler that I've already sanded down. You just need to remove the gloss and that's it. I purchased this tape off of Amazon, I do believe, and I will make sure that I have the links down for you below. And I've already put all the V shapes that I want on the tumbler so we can just dive right in. So I'm going to kind of run through these colors for you fairly quickly, but I promise to have all of the links down for you in the description below. I'm going to be using all 5 new glitters from the subscription box from AB Designs and 4 of the new pastel colors from Color CCDIY. So now that it's time to start painting, you'll notice as I proceed that I'm going to use the color of paint that corresponds with each glitter color. I do crop some of this out and I do speed some sections up just so that I don't bore you guys painting in these little tiny lines. I promise you this pays off at the end. Now, when painting in these sections, you don't have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you have a solid amount of paint in order for your glitter to adhere properly. These are all chunky mixes, and it still worked perfectly using the paints. So after you've applied each paint and glitter section, tap it off very aggressively and make sure you get in between and clean up any little bits that might be in the way before moving on to your next color. I also did not seal this in between each glitter application. I also painted each section twice, and once I had the second coat of this and the glitter applied to this pink section, I then went in only in the first few sections, I think 3, and removed the blue tape. I left the blue tape outside on the purple sections because I'm going to go in with my white. So here's where you're going to see that I've already removed those 3 blue pieces of tape in those particular sections, and now we're ready to move on with the white. At this point, I have yet to seal these glitters. Once I'm happy with my glitter application, I'm going to now go ahead and immediately remove this blue tape. I'm going to allow this entire tumbler to completely dry, and then I'm going to go in with the clear seal from Rust-Oleum and seal all of this glitter. Once our clear seal has completely dried, we're now going to go back in and glitter these little sections. I'm doing the exact same steps as I did the first time. You will notice as I paint these sections in, I was really nervous. I did not want to touch that white glitter. So I did keep my cup on the turner, but each time I went to glitter it, I removed it from the turner, glittered it, and put it back in order to paint. I kind of used the turner as a third hand, honestly. So as you'll notice, I've got almost all of my lines complete except this section where I'm going to go ahead and add in the white. Once I've applied all of the glitter in this particular section, I'm again going to let everything dry, and then I'm going to go in with the clear seal and really seal this really well, because I would not want these glitters to shift over into any of my white sections. Once everything is sealed, we're now ready to go in for our first coat of epoxy, which I'm going to be using the Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. I really hope you're enjoying this video so far, and if so, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. Also, don't forget to click the bell to get notifications for every time I launch a new video. I'd also like to give a shout out to my YouTube members as well as my Patreon group. Thank you all so much for your love and support. Once your tumbler is fully cured, we're now ready to move on. And here you'll notice I put a piece of tape alongside the V, if you will, and that's because I'm going to trim this vinyl off at an angle, at the same angle as in which my glitter is going. So I want to overlap the tape just a little bit with my design. And then once I get going around the tumbler, I will then go ahead and slice that off and then tape off the other side. So when you're working with clear vinyl, it's really important that you're making sure that you're not getting air pockets or wrinkles. If you have air pockets, you will be able to see that once you've applied your epoxy. So you'll notice when I get things going here, I will actually use my velvet scraper brush and help push that down. So once I've gotten my vinyl pretty much secure on this side, I'm going to go ahead and take the X-Acto knife and trim right along that tape. Once trimmed, we're going to go ahead and remove all that excess and continue to wrap our vinyl around the back side of the tumbler. So before we get any further, I want to go ahead and place the tape down on this other side in order to overlap the vinyl again so that I can make sure that I have a nice straight edge. So for the bottom, I would normally use my Wicked Shimmer tool to go ahead and trim this vinyl, but I really didn't want that much trimmed off. So I'm basically going to take a piece of tape and place it at the highest point of the vinyl, if that makes sense, and wrapping around, staying nice and straight and as even as possible, and then I'll just take my X-Acto knife to trim off this excess. When using your X-Acto knife to trim off this bottom, guys, please be very, very careful and take your time. There's no need to rush around it. On this 12 by 12 clear vinyl sheet from the AB Design subscription box, it comes with a Hello Spring, a couple of them actually. I think it was like a purplish color. I chose the yellow that would actually match a little bit better for my tumbler. Plus there's a butterfly and a dragonfly. I placed the dragonfly down at the bottom of my tumbler, and then I added the blue butterfly as well. Once we added the rest of the decals, it was now time to go in with this beautiful baby pink, kind of like a pale metallic from AB Designs. Again, these come in 1, 2, and 3 millimeter sizes. For this particular project, I really just wanted something very subtle, but also dramatic. So I went with the 1 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to show a couple more, and then off camera I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the tumbler. Okay, so now we're back, and you'll notice that I went ahead and did all of those nail tape lines off camera, and you'll also notice that I added the same vinyl into the pink section. For me, this was my wow factor for this tumbler. And to protect these nail tape pieces, I want to make absolute sure that they are not going to lift when I apply my epoxy. So I am going to be using the quick sealer from Color CCDIY to help me protect these teeny tiny nail tapes before I go into epoxy. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this a couple of times onto my tumbler, and then I'm going to allow this to dry before moving on. I do want to apologize for not showing the vinyl placed into the pink section, but I applied it exactly the same way as I did on the bottom half. Once our sealer was completely dry, we were then ready to go in for another coat of epoxy. For this coat of epoxy, I am again going to be using the Fast Set from Color CCDIY. This tumbler only took one more final coat, in which I used the artist resin, and she was complete. I want to thank you so much for watching, and be sure to find me on TikTok under Rebecca Escott, Facebook at Everything Tumbler Tutorials for continued learning. Remember, all the links will be in the description for you below. And as with any coats of epoxy, make sure you use your heat torch to pop any bubbles you may or may not be able to see.